Okay, today we're taking a look at soloing, and we are going to start off with soloing in the key of C. And the document we're going to use is this fingerboard, which is the key of C, notes on the fingerboard. Uh, all of the sharps and flats are missing because in the key of C we only have natural notes. On the piano, this would be all the white keys and the absence of the black keys. So it's a fundamental first key that we usually solo in, and these are notes that exist in that key. So if you think about all the notes on the guitar, including the sharps and flats, that would be like in a sport, that would be all the players in the league, and this would be a specific team that's playing together to, instead of win a game, to be able to play a song. The fundamental chords in the key of C are these ones down here, which are C, D minor, E minor, F, G, A minor, and B diminished. This creates a sort of scale like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do in chords. And we can certainly find that scale in notes by playing C here, this open D on the fourth string, open over here. Sorry, I'm looking at it in the reflection of it. So C here, D here, E, F, G, A, B, and C. So we could play that and it would sound like do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Many people teach soloing in many different ways. How I was taught soloing and how I think it's taught really quite effectively is to not think about a certain position and be playing across that position, because that position isn't linear. The guitar is not really a linear instrument. It's a portable instrument you can carry around, but it's not designed in a linear way. But a single string is sort of like a single instrument that you could play and think of as being a line. We have E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and E, going from E open to E on the 12th fret with all the letter names in between. And if we think about playing those, that could look like this. So that could be E open, F on the first fret, G on the third fret, A on the fifth fret, B on the seventh fret, C on the eighth fret, D on the 10th fret, and E again, an octave higher on the 12th fret, going from open to the 12th fret with the double dots. And we have dots on the 3rd, the 5th, and the 7th, which are all natural notes. So E, F, G, A, B, C here, not on a dot. D here, not on a dot, and of course E on the double dots. So how music is essentially made is that there are melodies and there are accompaniments. And melodies are made out of single notes that are played one at a time to create tunes. And accompaniments are chords being strummed on, if it's guitar, strummed across the guitar, or picked on the guitar to create a background for those melodic sounds. So it's really valuable to learn how to do soloing and make melodies, because fundamentally that's what music's made of. So how to work on it? Well, one approach is to be able to take a chord progression, so these chords that are here, and changing the order of them or putting them into little patterns. So one pattern might be, say, to take a C chord, 2, 3, 4, then go to F, 2, 3, A minor, 2, 3, 4, and to G, 2, 3, 4, and then to C, 2, 3, 4 to F, 2, 3, 4 to A minor, 2, 3, 4, then to G, 2, 3, 4. And then record that into QuickTime Player or in whatever's on your computer that you record, like voice memos or anything like that on. And then to solo over top of that, what we'd like to do is to take a single note, like this A on the 5th fret of the first string. We're only going to play on the first string. And by playing that A, we end up being able to build our solo around this single note. So this will be sort of like our base camp that we're going to stay on. and we can pick it singularly like this, or we can pick it by picking down and up in some kind of rhythm. We can play it faster, we can play it slower. We can now combine this A once we've secured it with a second note, and that might be using our baby finger on this C on the 8th fret of that first string. And we can go back and forth between those two notes in some kind of rhythmic pattern. We can also drop down to this G that's below that and go from that G to that A. Now I've got 3 notes, G and A. Now I'm not going to add any more notes until I've secured the ones that I have. So the minute I've got this A, I'm going to go back and forth between C and A. Once I got those secured and they feel technically like I could do something interesting with them, not interesting necessarily musically, but technically I can play them. And maybe I do some kind of rhythmic picking that makes it sound a little bit more interesting. Then I drop down to this G and A and I get it together. Then I'm going to add another note. I might add this F, and then I'm starting to build. The minute I lose control of the information and it doesn't sound good, or I start playing notes that I panic and I guess at what fret I'm playing on, that's when I go back and begin to that process again. So I can make a chord progression and record it, like I said. The other thing you can do is you can go on the internet and go to YouTube and type in elevated jam tracks, elevated jam track in the key of C. You'll find a jam track like this one here. He's titled this one Dreamy Ethereal Ballad Guitar Backing Track Jam in C. It's got these interesting names for them. But if I put this on, it's going to be in the key of C, and I can do exactly what I said to do, and that is to start on A and build out from there. And it would sound like this. He's going to start. Here we go. There's my A. I'm going to add C. I'm going to add G. Did a slide, sliding from A down to G. I did that by pressing in and just pushing down from the 5th fret down to the 3rd fret. You can also slide up from G to A. I play G, I pick it, and I push in as I push that finger up from the 3rd fret to the 5th fret. I just did a pull off. So I put the first finger and the baby finger on. My first finger on that A, my baby finger on that C, and I'm going to play that C, and I'm going to pull down. It's going to pluck that string as I go by. It sounds different when you pull off a note than if you pick both of those notes. I'm going to hammer on like that. So I'm going to pick that 3rd fret, and I'm going to use my 3rd finger to hammer that A. That 5th fret. Now I'm going to do I'm going to pick that more times. Now I have a vibrato. That's the wiggling that string. I release the guitar, so I'm not holding it with even my thumb, and all I'm going to do is just wiggle that string up and down, pushing it up and down like that, but not in a controlled way, in a way that I just let the neck of the guitar, just the weight of that guitar neck push against that, allow me to bounce that a little bit. Now I've added the D on the 10th fret. And I begin to build the techniques into using a smaller number of notes and making them sound better by not having to manage a huge number of notes. And I can pick more, and I can also just provide more techniques. So that's a good start to soloing, and go and enjoy it.